My name is Sundance, Chicago's tightest female DJ.
All right. So you began your musical journey as a drummer in high school and your church. Um, how did these early experiences shape your passion for music?
Well, a seed was planted. I come from a musical background anyway, being, living with my grandparents, my grandmama dragging us to church. So it was always there, but I always wanted to be a professional drummer. Never thought about a DJ.
Get on up. The D, the A, the N, the C, the E. You like the way I rock the MIC? Ammo that I'm pumping, so I can gonna make a broad think twice before she wanna go out like a sucker. Me never.
At 16 years old, you were featured on a 1989 single, Get On Up, which achieved gold status. Can you share how this opportunity came about and its impact on your career?
I had just came to Chicago from California, and it was literally really easy. I got into a contest, won the contest, and one of the judges, which is one of my life mentors today, he's still in my life. His name is Jammin' Jack Starling, and Jack was a judge, and I won the contest. And he said, "I'm gonna call you later," but later was maybe 2-3 weeks later, and he made the connection with Fast Eddie and myself, and it was literally history from there.
Nice. So after facing personal challenges, including a period in a homeless shelter, you pursued a beauty school. What motivated this pivot, and how did it influence your path back to music?
Well, I still like fashion, but more of in the field of cosmetology, hair, makeup, just this orbit of the face. I was always just kind of fascinated with it and pursued it. Went to beauty school. I went to beauty school twice. The first time I was too fast in the street, so I didn't stay. But the second time, I stayed, graduated, top of the region, and got my license in the state of Illinois.
Nice, nice. You know what? I want to ask you a little bit about go back to the drumming situation. So are you still interested in drumming, or do you still drum?
I do not. I recently sold both sets of my drums. Well, I didn't sell them. I gave them away to a guy named Brian Furious Frazier. I gave my drums away. And I still think about it, but right now it's not attainable because of my life and time. I'm putting time into, I have a custom truck that I built a few years ago, a brand that I created a few years ago. So that's where all of my time go. Even my leisure time, I'm just returning back to skating as well. So I just don't have the time. Maybe it may be cards, but
Right.
we'll see. But my biggest highlight in drumming, I met Sheila E. and she signed. I have a very expensive snare, and I was on the radio saying I'm gonna go to this concert, and everybody's gonna know who I am because I'm gonna have my snare with me. But I had it in a case, and I got backstage, and she signed my snare. I still have that snare.
Nice. So what was that kind of experience like for you performing?
Performing.
Yeah, when you were drumming.
Well, it wasn't really a performance. I played at a couple churches, of course, band practice. Um, I didn't really think of it as performing. I just thought that the more you play, the better you got.
Right.
Drumming and DJing is two similar fields where you can't cheat the game. Whatever you put in, that's what you're gonna sound like. That's what you got to put in some skin. You have to.
Okay. So I know your grandfather encouraged you to pursue DJing during your recovery from surgery. If you'd like care to elaborate a little about what happened with the surgery, go ahead.
Yeah, I had my appendix removed, and I had a pocket full of money. He came to the hospital to see me. I didn't have any visitors at the time. I was fresh out of surgery. And my grandfather, he told me, you should see this hospital visit. It should show you where you are in life. No matter how much money you have, how much you have expensive cars or whatever, you still not happy because you're not doing what you want to do. Whatever it is in life that you want to do that. That is the calling, because it will haunt you forever. And then it's just a way of God putting gifts in you. So if you don't pursue that, it's disrespectful to not pursue what God gives you.
Yeah. So how did your grandfather's advice influence your decision to enter the world of DJing?
I carried it out to a T. My grandfather died in 2001. And everything that he said, I did. He said, you hang around the people that's doing what you want to do. You don't have to go to college. Just hang around the people that's doing it. And then if you want to get paid off of it, you hang around the people that's getting paid. Because two type of people in the world. It's people that's doing it, and it's people that's making a living off of it. That's really making money, cash money off doing it. And I did do that. I did that.
Nice. That's really good advice there. So mentorship played a significant role in your development as a DJ. Can you discuss the impact of mentors like Steve Maestro and Blue Master on your growth?
Well, Steve Maestro was my first teacher as far as DJing. But what happened was Steve had a record deal, and he moved to New York. So he didn't spend a lot of time with me. And along the way, Bulu was the hottest thing next to fish grease on the radio. Bulu Master, that's all you heard. But Bulu used to come to the west side to get his hair twisted. And one day he didn't want to sit in traffic. And he remembered, Sundance live out west, let me give her a call. And he was like, hey, can I come through for a minute until traffic dies down? So I'm like, this is my opportunity. Get Bulu over my house, and I'm learning how to DJ. Let me go fry some chicken. So, when he got there, the food was done. I opened the door, all the aroma of golden fried chicken, spaghetti, cornbread, cabbage, everything. He was like, oh, man, can I get a plate? Can I get a plate? And when he saw all the records on the floor, and he saw the 12s on the walls, and he was like, are you learning how to DJ? And it was open season. I told him, Steve Maestro had, really introduced it to me and spent time with me. But Steve had got that record deal and moved to New York. So I kind of was on my own. I had an uncle, my Uncle Gary used to come by and show me stuff. My cousin Wax Master. But when Wax was showing me, he was showing me stuff that was too advanced. Like he was scratching and transforming. I was too advanced. I hadn't even got blending down. So Bulu spent a lot of time with me. And it was more technical. He was like, with Sundance, you have to be able to troubleshoot. You need to know how to set it up and break it down. You need to know how to come in behind a DJ. And if you don't hear any sounds, you gotta learn how to troubleshoot. You just can't be cute behind the decks. You have to learn how to troubleshoot. You have to know how to read a crowd. You have to know what to play, how to play it. So yeah, I give all the props to Steve Maestro and Bulu Master. I just wanted to see how far. I didn't have a goal with it. I didn't make plans. I just wanted to see how far I would get. And to make the merge and to see how far I've gotten, even today, to walk past the fireplace and see all of the awards, medals, just 3 stamped out passports. Just I've accomplished a lot in DJing. I still have a long way to go, but not bad. Not bad.
Okay, you became the first female DJ on all urban radio in Chicago. Working with stations like WGCI and V103. What challenges did you face achieving these milestones?
Just being a black woman. That was number one, and number two, because I had a program director at GCI that did not see the future of merging a radio personality and being a DJ. He didn't see that. That wasn't here. That wasn't a fad. Today it's so normal. It's so normal. So for any female that's on the radio DJing in Chicago market, you are standing on my shoulders. I DJed for V103, Soul 106.3, and WGCI in a total of 17 years of my 26 years on air.
Nice. So how did your roles at WGCI and V103 differ, and what did you learn from each experience?
Well, GCI was like my first phase of radio. I was younger. The music was younger. I just had a different mindset. Things got a little different when I made the transition to 106.3 to V103. And I wasn't at 106 long, but the transition was, it was a smooth transition, but I started to see the game of radio. I started to see if you were my color, if you were a woman of my color, it wasn't that friendly to you. And I just started seeing the game for what it was. When I was at GCI, I was green. I was just so happy. I'm on GCI, you know what I mean? This is, a staple radio station in the community, and I'm working here, a chick from the West Side. So I was in that element, just being fond of working at a heritage station, with no skill, no background, just a different voice. But I saw the game as long as I stayed in it, I saw the game.
Nice. So, being a guest DJ on major TV networks like Fox, WGN, and ABC's Windy City Live is very impressive. How did these appearances influence your career and visibility? But also, how did these opportunities come about?
Well, in this market, child, it's all about who you know. It's all about who you know, relationships. That is key here. Val Warner is a very good friend of mine. So a lot of my appearances on Windy City Live was based around Val's birthday. The weather is breaking. It broke up, just having a female DJ just kind of broke up the monotony of always seeing men. So you had more producers that were women that was like, oh, let's get Val's DJ. Let's get Sundance, and it went from Val's DJ to the chick on the radio to let's get Sundance, So sometimes you have to come in one way, but you will exit, another way. And it was good to be booked and have staying power. Because I think I had 9 appearances on Windy City Live. And they knew exactly who they wanted when they said my name. It was no guessing about it. Oh, we're booking Sundance. Mm-hmm.
You've been recognized by publications like XXL, Jet, and The Source, and you DJ for major brands and artists. Which of these achievements really stand out for you the most and why?
I think when there used to be a show back in the day called Rap City the Basement. I think when I flew to New York and did Rap City the Basement, it was that Mama made it. You know, even though I had to pay for my ticket, they paid for my hotel, but I had to pay for my ticket. Just the experience, even though the show is not even on anymore, but just the experience to have that on my resume, to have corporate on my resume, and I still have corporate accounts. So things drastically changed over the years from when I was just a very younger woman coming in the game to now. So to look back, it, it's still amazing because, like I said, I had no goal with DJing. I just wanted to see how far I'll get if I put 40% of my time and effort into this. But when the world of DJing changed and when everything went digital, that's when it got serious because everybody was a DJ. Everybody, you could find a controller anywhere. Everybody was buying this stuff, and that's when it got serious. When people that you never thought, you know, it was just so accessible to go get a controller, go buy a controller. People sharing bad music files. Or I knew some guys that had bought top-notch equipment, very expensive DJ equipment, and couldn't blend shit. They couldn't mix flour and sugar. They couldn't blend because it has to be in you. Again, you cannot cheat this sport. You have to put man hours into DJing, and it will show. It will show. Well, my fan base is 10,000% women. That's something that I know women love Sundance. I don't think it. I haven't second guessed it. I know this for a fact, and I don't take it lightly. I know that's my core. That's my fan base. I talk to every woman, every walk of life. The financial part of it you can make $1 million down to $17 an hour. I'm still talking to you. It doesn't matter, single, divorce, relationship, boyfriend, girlfriend. Child, I don't care where you are in life. I can entertain and I can talk to my core audience. I know who my audience is.
And how important would you say that personal relationship that you formulated over the years, just maybe here and there talking to someone that comes up to you, how would you say that played a role? And why is it important to be that way, you know, compared to someone who just kind of brushes people off all the time? Like how does that play a role?
Well, you can't really talk to everybody,
right.
You know, because of time. You just can't talk to everybody. But you better talk to somebody, you know what I mean? Because these are people, we're not in an era where people used to buy mixtapes back in the day, where you had to sign an autograph back in the day. This is not that. Our era is we're friends on social media. We're friends on Facebook and TikTok. That is the now. So I think that's the next level to engaging with your audience. You have to be able to be kind of accessible, but you still have to pull back and have, you know, that space.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so as the first female DJ added to the core DJs worldwide, how do you view your role in paving the way for other female DJs?
Well, I'm gonna say this, and it's crazy you mentioned that because I'm accepting a lifetime achievement award and a legend award for the core DJs. 20th year is actually next month in Hollywood, California. I haven't been as active as I would like to, but shout out to our president Tony Neal, who makes it his business to to stay on me. And every now and then I peek my head in, and just to see the generation of women that has joined the core, just to see how they look. I'm not a real big fan of the naked DJ, and she got on just because she got a bikini, but she can't blend. She doesn't know the records. She don't read a crowd. I'm not a big fan of that. I'm not at all. Like I said, and I will always say, it is definitely a sport that you have to put some time into. And if you do not put the time in, the game will show you.
Okay. Your music has reached audiences in Europe through mixes and bookings. How does international recognition compare to your experiences in Chicago?
Very different. I go overseas. Oh, they treat you like a megastar. They treat you like you just got off the tour with the Beatles. It is very different over there. Very different. When I first went over there, I was 17. It was really hard for me to congregate with somebody over there because their accent was so strong, and I had never heard anything remotely close to that. But the treatment is just, they lay it out over there. They lay it out. Whatever you need, whatever you want, and I'm not a needy person. You give me a bag of oranges and a Red Bull and I'm fine. But I'm not super needy. I'm not on my Beyonce level at all. But the treatment is definitely different.
Nice. So looking back, what was the most challenging period in your career, and how did you overcome it?
In my career, when I couldn't make the connection with my program director at the time, his name was Elroy Smith, and he did not believe that women should DJ. Or maybe he just didn't believe that Sundance should have been a DJ. But just being persistent, he saw me DJ at the Lamborghini showroom floor. I DJed for Pastor Charles Jenkins, his 30th birthday party. And I had been trying to pursue getting a spot on the radio as far as a DJ. I had already had an air shift. I just wanted to spin. But he could not make this connection of radio personality that was actually a DJ. And he did not make that connection. Like Maurice Ice Cold Pepper, he's been a DJ on V103 for over 25 years. But, it would be accepting if he would get on the mic and utilize his voice. Very accepting for a man. But for a woman at that time to come from being a personality to go behind the decks, it was challenging. It was not accepted. So when I finally broke through, Elroy had eventually ended up leaving iHeart, and Derek Brown came into play. And when I told him that I was a DJ, it just goes to show you the different headspace, the different mental capacity of two very strong program directors. Like Elroy did not adopt that thinking, but here this younger program director was like, yeah, come on, you know how to mix? And, he put me to the test. I had to make him a CD at the time. See, they don't even make CDs no more. It's all MP3s. Make him a CD, and he liked it. He was like, hey, I got a spot. You want it? Yep. And it was as simple as that. And then I ended up DJing for Doug Banks whenever Doug Banks, rest in peace to Doug Banks, whenever Doug Banks would come back to Chicago, I would open up for Doug Banks, Maurice Culpepper, and myself. And then when he really saw, like, this girl made the investment with the equipment, I'm a promoter. And then once the PD says yes, now your marketing department says yes. It's more, I had more of a leverage to the name Sundance. Of course, I was marketable to the eye. But if you stick me on the air, I can run the board, I can edit, I can do everything, even IT stuff. Like I'm very interested in engineering. That's what my degree is in. Right. So no problem. And then to sit some turntables in front of me and I could execute, right. It was something that was so uniquely different in this market, and no woman had tapped into it. Right. No woman had bridged being a DJ and being a radio personality and seasoned. You know, no woman has crossed that boundary, not here, not in this market.
What advice would you give to young women aspiring to enter the DJing or music industry today?
Keep going. Whatever you want to do in life, if it's DJing, if it's making beats, if it's engineering, keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Don't stop. Keep going.
How do you envision the future in DJing, especially for women and underrepresented groups in the industry?
How do I envision it?
Yeah, like going forward in the future. Like, so we look back on the challenges and obstacles you had to overcome, and things now may be a little more open, but I'm sure there's still some challenges. So how do you see things changing? Do you think it's going to be for the better, for the worse, or, you know?
I think the craft of being a DJ is in women are winning, but this is a man's sport. Let's not make no mistake about that. It's a man's sport. But the women that's getting in, the women that I see I'm heavy on TikTok, super heavy on TikTok. And I could sit and listen to a couple young ladies and put it on a loudspeaker and clean the whole house. Trust me, the future is in good hands with the women that I've seen. And race has nothing to do with it. It's all about reading the crowd and music selection.
Nice. Are there any current projects or collaborations you're excited about, and can you share with us?
That I'm excited about? Yeah, I just got featured on this song that I did with a friend of mine. We were label mates when we were coming up. His name is CZR, Cesar Hernandez. We just did a single called Roll That Shit. And the dope part about the song is not just the collaboration. The lyrics hit home, but it was a automated AI video that he did. And it was so impressive to me because he took pictures from my Facebook page and he made these pictures talk. And it's just a great video, and it just goes to show you exactly where the future is headed. That he was able to make this video off of 5 pictures that I sent him. You know,
nice.
Super dope project.
All right. So, what legacy do you hope to leave behind in the music and DJing community?
That I did it, and I did it my way. I did that. I did it. I know I did it, and I did it my way. And a lot of people, they will get in your head, they'll get in your ear, and they always open with, you know what you should do? Nope, we should end this conversation. That's what we should do, because you're not higher than him. I get the assignment from him. That's what I'm gonna do.
Right. Okay. So that'll wrap up our interview.
Brighter days is on the other side of pain. Can't be the same if you wanna see some change. Iced out chains got you acting kinda strange. Mine got corroded by the fortune and the fame. Ego so bloated got you.
Shout out to Brian and Monica, Dale and Company Media. Ew. And don't forget, check out the brand Filthy Tees. Block his ugly ass. That's what it means. Ladies, you already know what it means when he getting on your nerves, stalking your page. Guess what you gotta do? Block him.
All right. Where can they find your merchandise and find more about you?
Social media, the website filthytees.com, PHILTHYTEASE.com. I'm on Facebook, Chicago's Tightest, Instagram, Chicago's Tightest, and TikTok, Filthy Tees.